Hello, lovely family. Welcome back to your favorite cooking channel, Cooking with Haba. If you've not yet subscribed, liked, or share, my friend, support the channel by subscribing now, liking, and sharing. Today, we're going to make this simple, sweet, authentic shortbread recipe. Yes, that thing about shortbread is very nice. It's very, battery to the tongue. It's just sweet, that thing. Yes. But the only thing is sometimes when I eat it, I don't want to. So yes, I have other cookie ideas on my channel you can make use of. So for my shortbread, what you need is flour. You need margarine, a lot of it. You could use butter, you could use oil, but margarine and butter is the best. And of course, I use some sugar, baking powder, nutmeg, essence as well. So I use a butterscotch essence. You could use vanilla, that also works. And I used condensed milk instead of my powdered milk. But you can use powdered milk, it always works. But this sometimes I don't use the condensed milk because it's sweeter and nicer. It comes out great. But powdered milk is perfect. Or you could use evaporated milk, any milk preference of yours. Just make sure you're having enough milk in there to make it feel milky, like the original, McVities ones. So I begin by mixing the flour and the margarine. The thing about shortbread is there's a lot of margarine or butter that goes in there. So that's what makes it short. So when I'm done, I add in the dried ingredients. And of course, I mixed it together. Then I added in the condensed milk. Now you realize I was going to add sugar. And of course, the essence. You realize I was going to add sugar. But I didn't really add it. Yes, because it just clicked to me out using condensed milk. And if I wanted to check the sugar, I needed to be careful because in my house, because everybody will like sugar that much. Yes. But then depends, but the condensed milk, if it's not much, you may have to add a bit of sugar, or if you're using your evaporated milk or your powdered milk, then you have to add in sugar as well. But because I'm using sweetened condensed milk, which has more sugar, I didn't want to add in any more sugar to it. So once that is done with just the wet ingredient that went in, you realize that it's binded perfectly. So this is one thing about shortbread. It's very easy to do. But if you're using all dried ingredients like powdered milk and all those ones, you may have to use just a little bit of water. For this one, you don't need too much water, just a little. And yes, you'd have to let this rest for like 5 minutes. And of course, usually what people do is to refrigerate it. Now, when you refrigerate it, whilst it's resting, the margarine, the fat, is going to bind properly. So when you're rolling it out, it won't flake out like this. You won't get this trouble when you're rolling it out. But what I did was, because I was a bit time pressed, I used cold condensed milk. My condensed milk was already in the fridge. It was very cold. So when I mixed it up, it binded it a little bit. Then I just rolled it out. But if you don't want stress, what you can also do is to use a parchment paper over the dough and then you roll it. So the top is going to come out very, very smooth and well leveled. So just roll this out and then get the size, the thickness you'd want. Make sure you don't get too thick, sort of cookies. You want it to be nicely, portable sizes. So yes, like I was saying, if you want it very smooth, you could just use a parchment paper instead. Then when you're done, you cut out your rectangles. Usually shortbread come in rectangles. My little nephew will say, well, sometimes just add some fun. Do some nice other shapes with it. But I think the standard shapes we got to meet when we were growing up was the rectangles. And you use your fork to create that, design on top, that thing. Just prick the top to get the shortbread look. Yes, and then when you're done, the sides you could just cut it properly, but then you can always remold it afterwards. So don't be too worried. Now the thing about the shortbread thing is it easily flakes, especially when it's fresh. And then when it comes out of the oven and it's not cooled yet, that one it easily flakes. So please don't be worried. Yes. And so when you're removing this, it's always best to use your knife, your palette knife, which is the best. Or you can use a spatula to remove it. Yes, like I did in this video. So once you're done breaking, once you're done with the cutting and all those ones, you just arrange it nicely in your tray. Let there be enough space in between them. And of course, preheat your oven around this point at your 270. So when it goes in, you can reduce it to 180 or half the heat, and then you can easily bake. If you don't have an oven, I've taught how to bake without an oven on this channel in my red velvet recipe, where I used the rice cooker, I used that at the sink, or the saucepans. Yes. So if you don't have an oven, you have no excuse to not bake it. So check out those means as well. I've done a lot of baking on this channel without an oven. So yes, you can just design and then cut out the rest as well and arrange it. Don't overly load your tray. Always have enough space in there. And when I'm done, what I do is to sprinkle some sugar on top. Sprinkling sugar on top is what is going to give you that crystal look on top. You know, usually when you buy shortbread, there's sugar around it or sugar on top of it. Yes, so don't be worried. Don't feel like sugar and seven and new. Yes, it's going to melt when it's being cooked, but then it will crystallize afterward. And least I forget to mention, you can just do without the sugar on top as well. It depends on you, especially when you know that you've placed too much sugar in there. So once that is done, you just put it into your oven and allow it to just bake 15 minutes for your cookie recipes. If you're doing quite a batch or quite a heavy baking like I was doing here, you can be rotating it every 5 minutes, because you know, for pastries, when it comes to the small ones like the cookies, they don't take long to bake. Yes, so I just rotated it and then blah, 15 minutes time, it was perfectly done. And like I was saying, when it's hot, if you don't take care, you bake them. So when it's hot, just use your palette knife or your knife to just pick and see the base of it. The base is going to be a bit brown when it's done, and you let it cool and firm up. You can pack it in your Ziplocs, and you could always enjoy your shortbread biscuits with your juices and drinks. There are quite a lot on this channel, so check it out and then enjoy your food moment. So give yourself a treat at home with this homemade shortbread recipe. Till I see you in the next food video, live life to the fullest, be joyous, be merry. Lots of love from the team and I. Mwah.